Hi there everybody and welcome to 5 Minute React for Doctor Who Series 10 Episode 11, World and Enough Time. Now once again we have a two-part story, so this week's 5 Minute React will obviously only be talking about the first half of this story, A World and Enough Time, and obviously my reaction to The Doctor Falls will come out next week after part 2 airs, because obviously I can't do a reaction to an episode I haven't seen yet. So, but without further ado, 5 minutes starting now. Okay, very interesting concept in this episode, and I liked it. The idea of having time moving faster at one end of the ship than it was at the other. I also like the way that this episode jumps around a bit between different times. And that's something the Doctor Who's done a lot of times, with a lot of jumping around and showing things that have happened in the past in sort of flashback form. And sometimes Doctor Who pulls it off well, sometimes it doesn't. But in this episode, it did pull it off well. Well, I thought, so that was good. But I don't want to waste too much time on that, because I want to talk about the two things that really took me by surprise. I was not expecting Bill to end up being converted into a Cyberman. Man, that bit did take me by surprise. Well, I mean, I did kind of see it coming when I saw that she had the chest unit. I did realise, okay, she is going to end up getting converted, but I didn't see it coming. I didn't think that that was actually going to happen. But it did. And the other thing, at no point in the episode did it occur to me that that was John Sim faking that accent and wearing the mask and the wig. It didn't occur to me until he started talking very cryptically to Missy, and it was at that point that I realised that, okay, that was the Master. The Master. Good to see the Master back. I'm very interested. Well, obviously Missy is the Master, but very nice to see John Sim back in the first ever multi-Master story. It's the first time we've seen two incarnations of the Master together on screen. So very interesting, and I'm very interested to see where that goes. So yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about the Cybermen, because obviously the Cybermen are my favourite Doctor Who villains. Now, we know from all the propaganda and stuff that we are actually going to be seeing 3 different types of Cybermen next week, because there are going to be the current Cybermen from 2013. There's also going to be the 2006 design Cybermen from that we had before, and obviously the original Cybermen that we have now. I don't like to call them the Mondasian Cybermen, because technically, almost apart from the Cybermen that came from Cybus Industries, all of the Cybermen are Mondasian. So, you know, to call these ones specifically Mondasian, I don't know. I suppose that you could say that the other Cybermen are technically from Telos rather than from Mondas, because obviously Mondas got blown up. So I suppose you could say that, because technically, I suppose. But I think it's very interesting to be doing a sort of, as John Sim's Master put it, a Genesis of the Cybermen type episode, because obviously we had Genesis of the Daleks, and it's a very interesting concept, because Genesis of the Cybermen has already been done, because Big Finish Audio Productions did a story called Spare Parts. In fact, there was originally going to be a Genesis of the Cybermen back in a classic series. It was a story that never got made, and now and then Big Finish Audio did Spare Parts with Peter Davison and Doctor, with the 5th Doctor, and now we've got this. So now a Genesis of the Cybermen type Cyberman story is finally hitting the screens. And it's so nice to see the classic series Cybermen back. And you know, it's nice to have, and it's not like when we had all the hype about the classic Daleks returning, when really they were just in the background while the current Daleks took the foreground. The original Cybermen play a very important part. We are running out of time. I also want to talk just briefly about another brilliant moment in this episode, with that half-converted Cyberman that was still partly human just going, pain, 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 on repeat. That was creepy. This was a really creepy episode. Now obviously we haven't seen those other generations of Cybermen yet. We've only seen the Mondasian ones, because this is, like I said, a two-parter. So this week is really the build-up for the main action with the Master and all the other Cybermen to take place next week. Now, I read online this morning that apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently next week's episode is going to be longer and is going to be a 61-minute episode instead of a 45-minute episode. So we are going to get some extra content. Oh, and time's up. So, yeah. Overall, I loved this episode. I mean, obviously, I love Cybermen. Oh, and one of my favourite Doctor Who directors, Rachel Talalay, who's doing This Week, Next Week, and the Christmas special. So I really like the stories that she's directed, and obviously because she did Dark Water and Death in Heaven, she's done the Cybermen before, so that's also helpful. But yeah. But anyway, time's up, and yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. So otherwise, I'll see you next time, guys, and one more episode to go.